Good afternoon. Happy Saturday, everybody. Also, I'm gonna fucking quit my job. Why should I make any effort to be funny when Buttspot outdoes me every single time? It is incredible. I come here, I try to be smart, I try to be clever, I try to be witty. Buttspot replaces memes with me butts, and that fucking kills me. I don't need to put effort in. It's incredible. But yeah, welcome. Josh, Pikmin, Chester, Scooty Boot, Zach, as well as anybody else who's hanging out and lurking. It is lovely to have you all here. Zach, it's Saturday. You're allowed to be lazy, especially since you recently started a new job, which, by the sounds of it, is quite tiring. That's what Saturdays are for. Hello, what's going on here? I'm the PP police, and it's very important that I inspect your PP to make sure it fits with all national and international regulations. Yes, I can see that this PP is exactly in line. You sir over there, I see that your PP is several sizes too large. I'm going to need... Oh, no, you've got a judge's order with special permission. Very well, sir, be on your way. That was just for you, Chester. But yeah, welcome. Also, happy birthday, Josh. I didn't know, but I'm so glad. I hope I can give you a good day, at least for a couple of hours. I hope you can enjoy this. I am feeling very sleepy, but I'm still looking forward to this. And that being said, let's go. Whoops, wrong slider. Ooh, I'm excited for this. I really like these games. I've made that clear before, but I really like these games. Even, and one might say, especially, when they're dumb. Hi, Nintendo. You're up until 2 a.m. watching Rena, Barry, and Nicole stream. Oh, Josh, just be like me and don't do housework. It's fine. Eventually you'll move out and then someone professional will come in and do the housework. That's terrible advice, but, you know. Damn it, I was gonna say something, but I completely forgot. Also, yes, Chester is correct. The housework will still be there. It is important to rest. Yes, what I wanted to say is... It's a small thing. I'm very proud of my alliterative title. I had something shorter, and then I managed to make that happen. And I'm quite pleased with it. So yeah. Last time, we provided pretty strong evidence that our client could not, in fact, have been the one who committed the murder, for a variety of reasons. And we accused his manager of, in fact, being the murderer. And now it is time, I assume, to question her. Yeah. That one. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian? No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony, during the break-off? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. No. No, you see, now I don't believe you. Because in that costume, you were not sleeping. Nobody could sleep in that costume. That is the most uncomfortable thing in the world. You know, Chester, you did! It's not appropriate, but... See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Yeah, Nintendo, people who sleep in jeans, I strongly believe, are basically the way we're eventually going to identify the alien infiltrators, because those are not humans. No, Chester! Chester, it's wonderful! Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Wake me up inside? Can't wake up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered one Kurita. But why? I thought she was buds with one. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over, because I have no idea yet, and I'm just making it up as I go along.
A pig! So cute.
Nikki, also you. Thank you. And thank you for the dudes. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Ugh. God. Ugh. You can tell, this dude doesn't shower. He just sprays on Axe when he's sweaty, and he thinks that's good enough. Nintendo, be the DM you want to see in the world. Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celestine Pax's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Yeah, Scooty, this dude has a mental age of 13, so... Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impax as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impax suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is one Kurita, the victim of this murder. God, Nintendo, fucking report them to the president. Those people are a national security risk. Them and the Gene Sleepers. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Kurita. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, as stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impax? It was Edgeworth. Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. If you accidentally fall asleep in jeans, you get a pass, but also like a verbal warning. If you're just wearing jeans and you fall asleep, then you are one of the alien infiltrators. I don't make the rules, Trom. I just enforce them. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. One Kurita's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt on guard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland.
God, you're such an awful liar. You're the judge. Either don't lie or lie better. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relationship to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter. What's that? Bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. I wish I was fishing. Being a judge is so tiring, and this robe is so heavy. And this beard. Did you all know that this beard is fake? They made me put on a fake beard. They thought I didn't look manly enough without a beard. And so they put this on me. I'm just a clean-shaven old man with a fake beard and fake eyebrows. I lost all of my hair in a freak fishing accident years ago. God, I wish I was fishing again. Perhaps I could find my hair back on that lake.
But I didn't kill him. Also, I'm sorry? I don't know what happened to me there. No one is accusing you of that. I am! Hand in the air, I am! I'm totally accusing her of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Trom, if you fall asleep in a judge's robe, you wake up bald with a giant beard. It's an unfortunate thing. Just be careful. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Deeply unnatural behavior.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. Oh Lord, Nintendo. The darkest timeline. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Throw a shoe at her in the middle of a sentence. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Time for the show to start. I'm just going to press on everything to start with. Which is normally the right place to start. What was Mr. On Guard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. On Guard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. On Guard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Oh my god. Edgeworth. That's so fucking hot. I love it when Edgeworth talks down to us. I do not have a Shane kink. There are rumors about me on this very Twitch channel. I do not. But there's something about Edgeworth talking down to Phoenix that is just so good. Went to one's room? Why? Why did you do that? As a friendly gesture. One was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intention in mind at that time. Can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. How hard can I hint at the player that this is the time to drop evidence? May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? I'm still gonna press her on everything, because other details may emerge. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Sanders is a very calculating person. And despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
Exact same scene as in the crime photo. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? I misclicked there, and I completely didn't see what it said. Oh, I think I just completely skipped pressing her on the last point. That sucks. So I'll have to go through it again. Doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. Yes, I was in shock. People totally gently set their wine glass down on the table across the room when they're shocked. Yeah, I was super shocked, so I took several minutes to uncork the bottle of tomato juice, to pour it into a glass, to not drink it, and then to set it down. Are we all clear on this? I was so shocked that I needed a drink, but also so shocked that I didn't drink any of the drink and the glass is full. Is everyone buying my bullshit story? Ninten, I applaud you. The only way you're gonna catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake. Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? Oh my god! The stupid thing I said is, like, actually key? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down, without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of one Corrida, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. Oh my god. Don't look at me, Phoenix. What was she starting to say just now? Fucking push her! Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. Don't care. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. That's how the water got... Oh! That's interesting, though. There was only water on the outside of the guitar case, which strongly suggests that the guitar case was closed when she knocked the vase over. Hello, Summer! Welcome in with the ominous music.
Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of the dresser. But when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why would you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but...
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
It is! Also, Alphonse, you wonderful person, you. For those who don't know, Alphonse did a charity stream today, in fact, just a few hours ago, raising money for Care Ukraine, and he raised $500 to support them. Absolutely huge. I'm so proud of him. If you don't follow Alphonse, definitely worth your time. He streams in both English and Spanish, so if you speak either language, there's something for you. If you speak both languages, there's even more for you. Alphonse is the coffee corner, by the way. I don't really tweet my streams that frequently anymore. I found that Discord is a far more reliable way to get people to my streams. Maybe I should start tweeting again. Twitter is weird in many ways. I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else, except the juice bottle, and the wine glass, and the vase, and the guitar case, and the knife, and the dead body, and the murder weapon, and the other body which I found there and dragged into the corridor and hid in the bathroom in several plastic bags, and also the car keys to Mr. Kurita's car, which I took and hid that body in the trunk of, and then drove to the middle of Nevada and buried and drove back. Okay, so maybe I touched several things, but none of that matters. I mean, sure, Scooty, I appreciate that. Oh, Trom, no, there are no laws against messing up a crime scene. Nikki, please say. Because unfortunately, like, apparently the games industry only has one way to draw a no-nonsense woman. She really does, Nikki. Like, I like her design, but it is very simple. That's not true, Josh. We know that there's one law. Murder is illegal. It's shaky. Like, depending on who you are, it's semi-legal. But still, murder is illegal. Every case is a murder case. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell onto the guitar case. That is a problem, because you said the guitar case was open, but there's only water on the outside. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take one's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser. And that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Mia! I didn't say that out loud! I thought that in my brain space. Are you psychic? I know that you have the ability to give an 8-year-old double Ds, and we are not done discussing that. But also, at least give me my brain. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions. No, Alphonse. She's not a psychic. She's a spirit medium. In universe, they're different. I want to check the crime photo. That's not the crime photo. Okay, it's not that. Is it? Okay, it's the guitar case. Some water, but only on top of the lid. Yes. So Mia is dead. And she's possessing Pearl's body. We're able to see people's mental locks, but we can't read their minds. We still have to get them to say stuff. Yeah, no, Josh, that is... I completely agree. That's a shitty way to deal with it. The exact same scene as in the crime photo. Like, now we already know that's not true. Yeah, we already know that's not true, because she knocked over the vase. And the guitar case is the important part there. But, like, the whole crime photo is, I think, worth presenting.
Could it be the legendary Super Swine?
Gamer, thank you for the Super Swine bits. And welcome. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. We're getting the music. You always know it's good when we get the music, and when Phoenix gets his smug as fuck face. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside.
That's very true.
Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. God, I love that line. Thank you, Pikmin. The remains of the vase were scattered on the floor. And what is wrong?
And what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. At least some of them should. Ah! What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. I mean, that was the only concern I had, but sure. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. I mean, okay, yes.
Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say that she didn't touch the guitar case.
I was about to correct the judge on the use of implicitly, but that's actually 100% correct. She didn't say that she didn't touch the guitar case. She said that she touched nothing else. So, yeah, implicitly. Good job. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
I mean, we always need to hear more details. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Phoenix always has a line like this. He's always right, but he's also always bullshitting. I adore that so much. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either.
Alright, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I might have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. God damn it, Edgeworth. Don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. Suppose I must have opened the guitar case. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Something about her saying it's not a big deal is rubbing me up the wrong way. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright.
Sorry. Okay. So apparently that is not suspicious. Yo! It only has his fingerprints on it. It only has his fingerprints on it. There's a statement where she explicitly says she opened it. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case. Always the badge. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah!
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Well, the problem with that is you did leave fingerprints on the wine glass, bitch.
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Also, like earlier in the same trial, the police seemed to be unaware of the existence of gloves. So much so that I called them out for it. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, then how did you leave fingerprints on the wine glass? Oh! My god, butt spot? Oh my god. I hand you the crown, sir. I mean, like, it's incredible. It's just, that's such a perfect comedic sentence. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove that I was not wearing gloves at the time? Yeah! Yeah, I do. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Why did her glasses break? Also, why does she just have spare glasses? Yeah, Alphonse, it's tomato juice. This game doesn't believe that alcohol exists.
Order, order, order!
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. You know, that's a fair point, Nintendo. I'd forgotten that about Ida. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar. The bright red guitar was at the studio. Oh, the guitar case was carrying something other than the guitar. So, One Corrida was, I don't know, smuggling heroin? Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. Also your trousers. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Oh my lord. How? How is he actually this dense? Fuck, Nintendo. I forgot because of the everything, but you're correct. God damn it, Buttspot! Slow down! I can't keep up with this!
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case.
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Fuck you, Edgeworth. This is, you have to admit, even you have to admit, something weird's going on here. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. Josh, yes, that is the correct summary. You're right, Alphonse. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why this guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
Bright red guitar not being the only thing, but the case is shaped like a guitar. What else could possibly fit in there? You don't mean to suggest there's a bright black guitar?
So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, Mr. Wright? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. You know, Trump, horrifyingly, at a certain age, yes. Big guitar, small child? That's a terrible thought. Let's not try to think of that terrible thought anymore. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? Uh-oh? Oh. Several buttons. The suicide note? Why would he keep it with him? Wouldn't be the knife. Okay, this photo not super useful anymore. Just fucking heaps of attorney badges. This is actually an interesting one. It was full of wine glasses. I'm gonna say the suicide note? Ugh. This feels like a very weak attempt. And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one? The music hasn't stopped, so I think I'm wrong.
Why, Mr. Wright? Why?
Well, just thought it might have been possible. It is, Alphonse? Is that useful or meaningful? I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be? You still think you can prove your theory? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Nikki. If you lose the case, the client is declared guilty, and you go back to the last save. It's really not exciting. Oh, that is wonderful, Alphonse. Thank you. His name is John Cum. That's what was in the guitar case. Okay. Hear me out. The person in the costume wasn't Adrian Andrews either. The person Lotta saw in the costume was one Karita, and the costume was in the case? Like, none of my evidence fits. But the costume is central to this. They never saw Matt's face, they only saw a person in a costume. You could fold a costume up into a guitar case, easily enough. apparently.
This is a photograph. Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? Oh! But how would she have... how would she have got the costume into the case in the first place? Also, Trom, who is Joey? I'm a little confused. I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous ideal? You know, Trom, you have me completely lost, but I'm fascinated. Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo?
You know, Trump, I only know the first 2 lines of that song. I believe you that there was something on Joey's or Jimmy's head, but I've never heard the song. I just know the terrible memes that it has produced. And every time there's a photograph in this game, I like to quote it.
You mean this photo?
Oh, terrible and wonderful, Shadow Mage. They're both.
Order! Order! Looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matangard's. Yeah. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True. It is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
It can't have been stolen from On Guard, because we know Matt was wearing his costume and the button was found in the pants of his costume. It had to have been a spare. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the answer comes out to be, Josh. Mr. On Guard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What?
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was in the guitar case?
Oh, One Kurita was just terribly short of sight on account of having spunk in his eyes all the time. He thought it was a guitar when he packed it.
It's getting hot. Oh, there are two of them.
Alphonse, thank you! Oh, what wonderful timing. It would mean that the victim himself had brought despair to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the German ninja.
Alphonse, you got the timing just right. Yeah, you can't rely on Buttspot. Buttspot is enigmatic.
Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Because he was always second best, and he wanted to, at least for one conference, be first best. Are you sure you can explain this one? No? No? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright. This is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... like, at the press conference. Oh! To confess something. That's interesting. He doesn't want to take the limelight. He wants to ruin the Nickel Samurai's career by some false confession. I mean, yeah, Nikki. That is how a lot of it is. This is what I think. Static noise.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. Good, Alphonse. You're supposed to be head empty. It's time for you to rest now. No, Alphonse, I'm so happy. My absolute favorite thing in the world is someone correcting a typo with another typo. Nothing makes me happier.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. One Kurita himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
he was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. By confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. That he had just a massive, massive wiener. Not even measured in inches, but in feet. The thing towered above his own height. The PP police had stopped him several times, but he had escaped, propelling himself purely with the power of that enormous PP. That is what he was going to confess. Which means that one Kurita posing as the Nickel Samurai was going to speak about Mr. On Guard.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
God, Shadow Mage, I wish I'd thought of that. But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure. Are you getting into the fact that the dude used the wrong legal term?
Miss Andrews?
I can't see why you are pros at what you do. Oh, thanks, I'm not. I'm just a shark who stole a badge from some dude.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say. The press conference was set up by one. God damn it, Nikki!
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him. That was also me. I'm still threatening. One day, the dudes are going to be Baby Shark. It'll happen once. No one will be prepared. It will never happen again. Also, if I was a good enough singer, I would sing Lawyer Shark.
It's all coming together.
It is slowly coming together. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
One had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him.
I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorok.
God, y'all are funny. It's all Kurita-ing together. Again, I applaud you, Nintendo. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow one had his hands on a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. Yes, he was going to reveal that Matt used to part his hair to the left. An absolutely devastating secret. What?
And do you know what this secret of Mr. Unguard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only one knew. I don't know what it is.
I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. Yes! Yes, you have, on account of being very suspicious. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. Ungar?
And yet again, Another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill one no matter what. Why? He had already won. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. Sure he was. You were his alibi. He was asleep. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. Oh, she's a very good liar.
This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. I'm just gonna save, just in case. Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. Ugh! If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? Oh my god, Phoenix. We've been over this in this game. A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. No. No, it's generally... What is it? Motive, opportunity, and means. Decisive evidence is more of a this game thing, but sure. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. Ah, poor Matt. With his bonkus of the conkus. They didn't teach that to us in school. Specifically, I'm referring to the school of fish that I used to hang around with. On account of I'm a shark and never went to a human school. May I continue now? This is... Matt had to kill one no matter what. Why? So would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why one chose that event and that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on guard. Except Matt didn't know about the conference.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Ungard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. He didn't have an alibi. He was sleeping. You could have been his alibi. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Angard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Angard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. Bailiff number 3, you said that Rhydon was the best Pokemon, and that is an absolutely foolish statement. Rhyhorn is much cooler.
Judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. I mean, you could certainly fake being asleep, Pikmin. Ooh, Nikki, you raise a good question. What in fact is the best part of the cat? God, I adore that clip. I think that is my favorite Barry clip ever. I've watched it so many times. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. Wasn't there something weird about the button?
What about Tumby?
Hi, Ramens! Perfect time to arrive! We can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Like, that could easily have been planted, though. On account of you found him asleep.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt Sakama. Isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Ugh. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove anything. Please, fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Okay, my best friend will die if defeat is a thing here, so this is not about gracefully accepting defeat. This is about protecting Mia. Also, fuck you. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Okay, so she is confirmed a mind reader. This is a power that is never established among spirit mediums, which means it must be something unique to Mia. Ah!
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
That button was torn off of one during his fight with Matt. That's weird, though. Because the stabbing is not what killed him. The stabbing happened afterwards. He was strangled. If we look at the autopsy. Strangled with the scarf, then stabbed with the knife. The button wouldn't have come off then. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Yeah. It's not shown explicitly here. Yeah, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. It was established earlier in the earlier in this trial that he was already dead when he was stabbed. Cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? So, I don't think... Like, I'm not convinced she was the murderer. Because she seems to not know a lot of things about the actual murder. The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
And what does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means it's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ah! That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Maybe not no bleeding Alphonse, but much less. What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? Yeah, Josh, that's what I'm starting to feel. What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Wonderful, Nikki.
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
To frame on guard. There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. Out, eat the butt. Yeah, Buttspot has been quiet for a while. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. There is no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. People have kinks. We don't kink shame here, Phoenix. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard is... It has to be her, right? Like, I cannot imagine it's anybody other than her. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. This is not a Pokemon battle. You are Mr. Kurita's killer. What?
Order, order, order! Mr. Wright! This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Yeah, Ramens, but she's like Ida. She's just got infinite glasses. Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Please don't test me. I am unprepared. Then, what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only person who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body, or the killer. However, if Mr. Ungard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Okay, so this is the point where Edgeworth reasonably steps in and says, the witness is being badgered? Like, I love Phoenix, and I love the whole series. This is too far. Although, also, there was a person whipping us a few episodes ago. This is nothing. The only person who could have put this button in, into Mr. Ungard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap. Which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
Man, you were so close to greatness, Buttspot. That is another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. Huh. That's... Is it just me? Or is there something really sexy about that scene? Am I just weird? Maybe I'm just weird. Okay, so Pikmin's on my side at least. It's the shoulder and bare back. It's also her expression. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Hello, T. Yes, you did. Butt of the butt of those butts! Now, who would have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. God damn it, Zach. I can't remember anything I said. But B. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, Okay, so... I'm starting to think Buttspot had to, like, run to the store or something. Because they were quiet for a long time. Oh yeah, T! Our boyfriend is back. But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right!
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. We know it's not Matt because they're too short. The pants are all bunched up. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Is that a real law? That seems like a not great law. I'm just going to say. I'm not saying it isn't. I guess it is, T. The fifth abutment in the butt. Wow. Just so powerful. Say, Mickey.
Well, yes. You're absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? More proof that Phoenix is not a trained lawyer. Oh, they even reference it. Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Unguard's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Oh, alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. Good night, Alphonse. Get some sleep. You did amazingly today. Get some rest knowing that you have made the world a better place. The Cough Butt Corner. Well, now you have to immediately change your name. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad. Did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. Butt corner? Butt is just devolving at this point. It's incredible to observe. In real time. There's still one more thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Hello, Lizard! Yes, thank you for noticing. I was very proud of it. And hello, Elvie. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrida?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting to your guilt, don't you think?
Not from a legal perspective, I think is the point. You can't convict someone on the grounds of they didn't answer a question. Again, Nikki, that is true in all practical terms. But it's not true in legal terms. Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No! She's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia! Mamma Mia! What? Oh my god. I didn't even mean to say that, but here I am saying Mamma Mia. Yeah, that's my understanding, gamer. The moment you plead the fifth is the moment, okay, you can't testify in your defense either. Oh, Lizard, you're correct? Mia, what should we do? Somehow we've landed in the worst possible situation. I mean, not really. It's bad, but it's not the worst possible.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof.
But that's not true!
In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial...
Tomorrow? For those who weren't here last week, we are supposed to get the defendant declared innocent in one day, or Maya dies. We don't have it tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination, however. If the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. I don't think that's how the fifth works, but go off. Elvie, I'm so sorry that the cat reclaimed their cracker. But jokes aside, I hope you have other crackers.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing that I'm curious about. No, losing the last cracker is the worst. I'm sorry, Elvie. Miss Andrews? When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. Hey! Shaken, stirred. It's a reference. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want you to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
This is most unusual, Mr. Edgeworth. I've already missed half of my soap operas for the day, but I was hoping to get home in time to catch the rest of them. They're very important. You see, Elizabeth was just about to confess that she was having an affair with Thomas, but at that moment, Alexander walked in and interrupted. I need to know what happened next. Suppose I could always catch a rerun at some point. Very well.
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. It's not a nightmare, Wax. It's a dream. A dream of murders and also just batshit insane stories. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. That's slightly more believable.
So you poured the glass of juice for the victim? Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Wait a second. I just said it sounded believable. But he had a knife in his chest? Which, not exactly what I would call someone who is just tired. Oh. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Mr. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
I didn't really pour it for myself. He was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. When you saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross your mind? Woman, you are a liar. I haven't had a full-on fever dream in a while, but I have had some fever sleep. My fever dreams... So I'm going to explain to everybody what my fever dreams are like. And it's different for everybody. But for me, it's awful. Because when I have fever dreams, I lose a sense of my body as a single thing. And instead, like, I become... the most recent one I remember is I am like all of the workers in an office building. So like my consciousness gets like split up throughout my body and it feels really horrible. I know it's different for everybody. But yeah, if you see someone like that, your first thought would not be tired. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? Ah!
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. I dream most nights. Not always particularly vivid, but yeah, I dream most nights. Apparently, if you want to have vivid dreams, drink apple juice before you go to sleep. Well, yeah, also that, LV. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. Or if not dead, then at least badly injured. That's... Well, you see... I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. The thing is, I don't think she is. I think she stabbed him. I think she took the button. I think she framed Matt. I don't think she murdered him. Oh, it's fine, Wax. She's got infinite Ida glasses. Yeah. Her glasses break and she just puts new ones on. This is, like, I think this is the third or fourth time her glasses have broken just in this stream. Don't worry about it. No! So. I don't think it was her. Because she was surprised to find out that he had died by strangulation. Which, like, the murderer knows. She was very surprised to find out that he was strangled. Which is weird. But I don't know who else it could be. But this game loves to lead you up the garden path.
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt on guard, is not guilty after all.
That's impossible, you're wrong. You see, she genuinely thinks it was Matt.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. You know, T, Larry Butts has not been introduced yet in this case. But I could see him just appearing out of nowhere and somehow being the arch villain of the whole thing. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed one. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. Ah, she's gonna say not incriminating herself of murder, incriminating herself of tampering with evidence. That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matangard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. You know, Wax, that would be a really cool kind of meta-narrative thing. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Yeah, because these games are melodramas and I love them.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt on guard.
Edgeworth, fuck you! Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. That's true, but she also refuses to testify, either in her defense or to incriminate herself. So, hell yeah, English assassin. I know they're not like traditional biscuits, but if I could get some English muffins, that'd be great.
The absolute real truth? What are you...
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt on guard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. Oh yeah, Wax. I have railed at this game several times. That's a lie. I don't believe you. Because at this point, we've proven that Matt was not guilty. The murder trial of Matt on guard is over. We succeeded. This is a whole separate trial, technically. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt on guard will be acquitted. Ugh. T, I hate that you're right. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging onto them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That is my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please. Someone help me.
Mr. Wright!
Yes, Your Honor.
This court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. I know what those words mean. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. Think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. It's the fucking security lady. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else that it could be except for the woman crying over there, right? No, again, she was really shocked at how he died. Which means it wasn't her. Which means, like, my initial suggestion of death by autoerotic asphyxiation, not off the table. Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Wright? So, he was strangled to death, Wax. He had a scarf around his neck. Like, obviously it's that. Okay. I saved. I want to choose what would be the in-universe thing that would happen. Because, no, T, you don't understand. Proving your client innocent is not enough to prove your client innocent. You also have to find who the murderer is and prove the murderer guilty. That is the only way to prove a client innocent. So in universe, I would say, request the not guilty verdict just to save Maya. No matter what she says, Miss Andrews is the only person it could be. Not to mention, I don't have a choice. I have to win a complete acquittal today. Your Honor, the defense believes there is enough evidence to substantiate our claim. Therefore, we motion that this court pass a verdict of not guilty as soon as possible. I'm disappointed in you, Wright. What have you learned in this past year?
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However...
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop!
Mr. Edgeworth!
Oh shit, the music got intense! Listen to this! This is... Dude's about to break client-attorney privilege, and the backing band is all for it. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. She has a fever. And the only cure is more cowbell. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. Yeah, didn't expect the thing he said to be, she has clinical depression. I feel like the music doesn't match that mood, but I'm still jamming. Ah! That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? You smug bastard. I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop, I beg you, if people find out. If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Sir! Sir? Your outfit? Impeccable. Your hair? Perfect. Your attitudes? Trash. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. That is a good line, though. No matter what I have to do. I mean, in this world, we've established that it doesn't even matter if she dies. We can still get her to testify. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. My crime. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room, and then I stabbed one's body with the knife and ripped off the button. just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume.
Stabbed the body with the knife? Why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Oh! Now that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and non-binary pals, that is a sentence with intrigue. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim one corrida in the chest with the knife. Thank you for the hydrate, Nikki. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. Well, I mean, it is a crime. Like, even beyond messing with evidence, like, there's a word for it. Desecrating bodies. It's not great. Thank you for the posture check as well. I was rather slumped. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
Yeah, I do hope that everybody else takes the opportunity to hydrate and posture check. Paula, thank you for the doots, and welcome. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, just like he always did when he jacked off. Autoerotic asphyxiation was the only way he could get hard anymore. Years of delving deeper and deeper into weirder and weirder kinks. This was all he had left. I was used to it. But that scarf is a part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because, one, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world, but Matt didn't know that. So Matt did this to stop one, and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. First thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. So I made sure there was no one in the hallway. I made a dash back to Matt's room. Well, Matt told us he doesn't know. We have no evidence of that. But Matt has told us that he did not know that there was going to be a press conference. So, at least based on that, he had no motive. But there's no way to prove that. The juice was the motive all along. Paula's got it. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. Again, no one could nap in that costume. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed one's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. So you are the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed one's dead body, I realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Ungard's hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? So when I finished with returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. That inconvenience presumably being Lotta. An inconvenience? There was a woman with the camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with the ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. So I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. So I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. There are no contradictions here that I can see. I feel like maybe this is just her telling the truth. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into one's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, one wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is this secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave one's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I mean, I would believe it, Trump. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Agard's room and planted the button.
Where's the costume? Like, how do you hide that? Into Matt's hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Okay. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does all this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ungard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor! The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. Cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. I may still be able to catch the last few minutes of Days of Our Lives, and that will have to do. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Rip Maya. I think that's the first time we've seen the judge's bench without the judge. Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remembered just now. I found this in the room on that day. That seems important. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered one's body. Okay! Okay! That's very important. It was lying there, right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body and somehow forgot? Woman, you are a wreck. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. No. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to one's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. Phoenix! You should know better. God, you've been in a million cases where, like, there are some muffin crumbs on the desk, and that leads you to convicting a warlord. God, you know how anything can matter. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. That's not a spoiler, Pikmin. It's obvious. Witness. That card. Give it to me. Hurry. Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. In her defense, she was never hiding it. It was in plain sight. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it, and what does it mean? I mean, my guess would be like a serial killer's calling card. I don't know if those are even real, but or to like break in the door Apparently that's a thing you can do with credit cards. Whatever. These games are wacky. I love them. Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! Ah. There, Pearls. I can't take it anymore. Look, it'll be alright. Everything may still work out. The condition was that we had to get a not guilty verdict. And so far, the kidnapper has kept his word and hasn't hurt Maya. And he won't, because Mr. Engard hasn't been given a guilty sentence yet. Those aren't the same thing, Phoenix, but I appreciate you trying to calm her. Sneef, sneef. Cheer up, we don't have time to stand around crying. We have to get going. You're right. Mystic Maya is in much more pain than I am. Yes, that's right. So...
Hey, you guys! Glad I caught you, pal.
Mr. Scruffy Detective? Oh boy. Looks like Detective Gumshoe has been dubbed Mr. Scruffy Detective in Pearl's books now.
It's just plain old Mr. Dick Gumshoe now, and I came to talk to you, pal.
Oh no! Have you been fucking fired? But we're kind of busy right now? Buttspot, no! So, what are you gonna do from now on?
What do you mean, pal?
Well, you've been fired, right? So, do you have a new job lined up yet?
Oh, that! What am I supposed to do now, pal? I don't have anything coming in at all until my next payday.
What are you talking about? You don't have another payday.
Guess that means I'm just gonna have to work here at your place, pal.
So, wrinkle in that, we're destitute. I've been taking a lot of charity cases, and as far as I can tell, nobody has ever paid Phoenix. So,
say what? You'll be searching for things that'll prove Mr. Engard's innocence all day, right?
well, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna help you, pal. I got lots of experience in investigating and watching over people's places.
Yeah, given your track record, Dick, I'm not sure.
And I'm great at making really simple meals, pal. I'll take care of it all.
Now that is suddenly a very enticing offer. Come on, Mr. Nick. Let Mr. Scruffy Detective take care of things. Ah, okay. By the way, what's your best dish?
Instant noodles, pal.
Why am I surrounded by people who only eat cheap, unhealthy foods? You can do a lot to make instant noodles fancy.
That was the first time I've ever seen Mr. Edgeworth act like that. Never thought he'd say something like he didn't care if Miss Andrews killed herself.
He said that? It's horrible.
But because of him doing that, we got the truth finally.
The truth. Miss Andrews' last testimony. I wonder if that was the truth. Yeah, I see no reason she would lie like that. God, I can't find Pepperjack. I went to, like, a specialty cheese store when I was still living in Toronto. The place was called fucking Cheese Magic, and they didn't have Pepperjack. Of course Pepperjack is good. It looks amazing. Everything about it makes me want to try it, and it just doesn't exist in Canada. I'm so pissed. I'll give you that there was nothing strange in her testimony itself. To the best of my knowledge, pepper jack isn't really fake cheese. It's just Colby Jack with peppers, which is an amazing combination. Yeah, Nikki, that's the thing to do. You find it and you hoard it. I still think there is something fundamentally wrong with the whole thing.
You mean about that thing, pal?
Why would she want to... No. I mean, almost need to frame Mr. Angard. Oh! Yes, Nintendo, you are correct. Also, hello, Minnesota. You couldn't figure that out from anything she said at all.
Then you're saying that testimony was a lie?
Not a lie, per se. It just feels like there's more here than meets the eye. Or that's what Edgeworth would like us to believe. That's such a dirty trick! Even that woman prosecutor was better than that. Hi, Nobugu. Siska Von Karma. Speaking of Miss Von Karma, do you have any more information on her condition? Wasn't she shot this morning?
Miss Von Karma was shot today on the way to the trial by a pistol, pal.
But she's gonna be fine, right? I mean, Edgeworth said she was in stable condition, but...
Well, she was shot in the shoulder, so she's okay and still hanging in there.
Like daddy, like daughter.
They should be done taking the bullet out, so she's probably resting at the hospital.
Which one?
What? Are you gonna visit her, pal?
No, well, I was kind of thinking about it.
Hey, you've actually got a heart, don't you?
Why are you surprised? I'm not the one who's falsifying evidence to get innocent people thrown in prison.
She looked like she was being tortured to death, not being able to go to the trial today. So maybe it'd be good for her if you went and let her whip you for a bit, pal.
Let's go let her whip us, Nick. Oh yes, Pearls. I will do exactly that. Worry not. No, I'm definitely not going.
Let's see. The name of the hospital? Oh yeah, the Hardy Clinic.
We've been there before.
That name sends a chill down my spine.
Well, I guess it can't hurt to stop by and say hi. Yeah, let's go visit her. Never thought I'd ever come back to this place. Why is it him again? Yes? Are you here to visit a patient? So, is this trial just like a greatest hits of the worst characters? Ah, hi. Wait a second, you're... Yes, I'm Director Hati. Oh, huh? Why are you still here? Yes, what is it? Can I help you? You can tell me. Yes. Director Hati. That was entirely the wrong voice. I assumed it was like a nurse. Edgeworth. Yes, I'm Director Hati. Oh, you're the man from this morning. Yes, what is it? Director, Franziska. How is Franziska von Karma? You don't need to worry. Yes, she's in good hands. Because, you see, I'm personally taking care of her. Yes. Yes, and that surgery, it went well. You have my gratitude. It looks like Edgeworth doesn't know about this director and his secret. She looked so pitiful, absolutely terrified. Yes. But I understand. Yes, her opponent was a gun, after all. And when I snuck up on her real secret-like, she would scream real loud. Yes? I see. But she's really cute, too. When I'd do that, she'd whip me with her whip. He is a terrible, terrible character. I hate everything about him. Boy, did I cry like a baby. Yes, but I think I could get used to it. Oh my god. Oh my god. He said the quiet part out loud. Only I'm allowed to do that. Fuck yes! Well, Paula, he's not actually the director. He's a patient who keeps stealing doctors' gowns. He's just literally a crazy person. Go back to your room. You're so mean! So mean, my frisky Friska! Okay, yes, it's time for my IV drops. Yes. And what are those tulips doing in your hand, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I knew I shouldn't have come here. I was trying to be nice. I was shot in front of the courthouse in my right shoulder. It is. He is also lying about his name, Paula. Like, he has rooms here. He's not the director. He's just some dude who calls himself the director. And no one ever calls him out on it, or at least Edgeworth doesn't. But it's no big deal. This sort of thing happens all the time. Does it? Does it? I even had full intentions of running the trial this morning. But that would have been too much for you. There's no need to act tough in front of us, you know. Regardless, I was dragged here by that man over there. He was so unyielding, one has to wonder if he was simply interested in stealing my case. I mean, in your defense, Paula, that was all from a previous case. That was like 2 cases ago. You would have no way of knowing that just from seeing this scene. You didn't miss anything. Because as it was presented, you were completely correct. It was the only logical course of action given the bullet was still lodged in your shoulder. But by taking over the case, I found myself having to clean up after you and that irresponsible deal you made. I think I know what deal he's referring to. Miss Von Karma, you made a deal with Miss Andrews yesterday, didn't you? I don't know what you mean. In order to make sure you got your guilty verdict on Mr. Angard, you told Miss Andrews to not testify in court today. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you have proof that I made such a deal? You're denying it? It looks like you were lucky, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If I had been in court today, this trial would already be over. All while hiding Miss Andrews' own crime? That isn't my problem. Whether she had tampered with the evidence or not, I have only one objective: to find Angard guilty of murder. The end justifies the means, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The end justifies the means. Miss Von Karma, Adrian Andrews believed you when you said, if you don't tell the truth of what really happened, then Angard will be found guilty. And what does that have to do with me? Because of that, she is now in danger of being found guilty herself. All because she believed in your words until the very end. That still has nothing to do with me. She's just a weak person, that's all. And you're just a bitch. But you had to know she was. I think visiting hours here are about over. So if you'll excuse me... What's wrong? Why did she suddenly cut you off? Probably because she thinks I had the advantage in that argument. Edgeworth. What happened today at the trial, Edgeworth? That was not like you at all. I mean, I know you knew about Miss Andrews' condition. We kind of are, Josh, and I feel bad about it. You could have made her testify as many times as you wanted, but to go that far? But she wouldn't testify about that until I said something. Listen, Wright, the courtroom is a garden of judgment. I am putting myself on the line when I stand in there. And that's why I made the witness do the same. It's only natural. No! You did an awful, awful thing. By the way, Edgeworth, you were really angry in court today. That's rare for you. That's my favorite expression he makes. It's what I like to call his getting sucked off in a wind tunnel face. Witness, that card. Give it to me. Hurry. Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? I mean, that's also what's going on, Wax. It's the same expression he uses then. Well, you know, Pikmin, that's not my fault. Can't believe you hid this from me. That card. What in the world is it? You mean this? Listen, Wright. This is top secret information. You absolutely cannot leak this. The Special Investigations Team has existed for a number of years, but few know of it. I understand. Their task is to find the owner of this card. You know what? That's also accurate, Nintendo. That's why Phoenix was so surprised. He's never seen Edgeworth's face while he was making it. A man called Shelley the Killer. And just as his name states, he is a killer. An assassin. The best at that. You know what, Wax? Yeah, I buy it. An assassin? Okay, so weird thing is we've been getting calls from the killer, and I did give him, like, a slightly posh English accent. So, I think maybe, yes, you are in the game? Who is this Shelly the Killer? The Killer is the name of a long-standing line of assassins. Long-standing? The name first appeared about 100 years ago, I hear. Shelly is the professional name of the third heir to the Killer name. So, because his professional name is Shelly, he leaves cards with a shell on them. He has a habit of making sure to leave a card by the body of his victims. Why would he do something like that? We think it's a part of his duty to his clients. His duty? If he leaves a card, then his clients can be assured it was he who killed the victim. That's why he wants Matt declared not guilty. Because otherwise his clients are going to think that he didn't do the job. Yes, ma'am. My name is Jonathan the Killer. I'm here to look at your toilet. Ma'am, why are you running? Ma'am, why are you calling the police? I'm sorry, it's my name. Blame my parents. It also serves as insurance against any charges being pushed onto his clients. I see. The Killer values the trust between his clients and himself above all else. It seems that this is one honorable assassin with a moral conscience. I guess that even honorable assassins can exist. Gonna pull you up short there, Phoenix, me old bucko. On account of how they kill people. You know, for money. So you think this assassin, you think he's the one who did the killing in this case? It would appear that way. The discovery of the card basically confirms it, wouldn't you agree? Shelly the Killer, huh? Yeah, and he doesn't know about Maya's situation, so... I noticed something in the trial today. You were behaving in a very strange manner. Is something the matter? Guess I should just tell him. Maya, she's been kidnapped. Kidnapped? What does the kidnapper want? Elvie! This is your moment! An acquittal. I see. I had no idea. I will prepare a rescue team as soon as possible and resolve this by tomorrow. Really? Did you hear that, Mr. Nick? Mr. Edgeworth is going to... Stop trying to console me, Edgeworth. I don't need your pity. Mr. Nick? There's no way you can find her. We don't have even a single lead to go on. There's only one way to save her. I have to get an acquittal somehow. It's the only way. Right. Listen, you need to know something. One Corrida was killed by Shelly the Killer. And the client who ordered the job is Matt on guard. Your own client. Huh. How do you know that? But also, that's very concerning. Please, stop. Can't listen to you. I can't believe that. I see. Well, if you want to continue your investigation, you will need this. Or at least the person who paid the killer, Josh. But if so, that's very interesting. What is it? The hotel right now is restricted to police personnel only, as we are looking for any clues that might lead us to Shelley the killer. But if you take this with you to the hotel, I'm sure they will let you enter. In any case, I must attend to the preparations for Maya's rescue team. We'll meet again if anything should happen. Now, if you'll excuse me. Mr. Nick? Do you think Mr. Angard hired an assassin? Oh, which is specifically why the assassin wants Mr. Angard acquitted. It's not just about professional pride. It's also about he cares about the relationship between client and assassin. He doesn't want his client going to prison. No way. I mean, he doesn't have a psyche lock. Yeah, I guess not. Maya. Please, all I ask is you make it home safe and sound. Oh my. I guess even kidnappers can be a little clumsy. Clumsy enough to drop a card like this for me. Yeah, the previous time we had Maya's perspective, we picked up a card like this. So it basically confirms that the person we've been speaking to, who introduced himself as the Killer, is in fact the Killer. Even though he said he was an assassin, I bet he's just making that up. Like how Nick does with everything in court. First of all, rude. Second of all, correct. But third of all, rude. Anyway, let's try out the card trick with this card I just found. Sounds like I got the door open. Okay, time to go take a look around. Oh my. Okay. One Corrida had 1 million of these teddy bears. I'll call that interesting. Also, that's a hell of a TV. I've got a feeling I'm not in the hotel anymore. Are those videos over there? And also a cat door? Well, I'll worry about that later. For now, I should be looking for clues. That way, I can show them to Sis and maybe get out of here. Wow, I've never seen a TV this big before. Now, where's the power button? Phooey, it's busted. I would so die a happy samurai fan if I ever got to see the nickel samurai on a TV like this. Ah, I can't believe I just made a joke about dying, all things considered. What is this thing? An antenna, I guess? Well, given that it's called Satel dish, I think it's a satellite dish. And this is a VCR? There sure are a lot of electronic gadgets here. But what is an antenna doing here? Oh hey, it's a computer. Never really used one before. I have no idea where the power switch on this thing is. A VCR is something that the writers of this game clearly thought would still be around in... Because this game is set in, like, 2030 or something. It's set, like, in the future from when the games are written. Drat, there goes my plan to use this somehow to get out of here. Oh! Isn't that... Yeah, that's Celeste Impacts. Ha! He has a framed photo of Adrian Andrews' mentor. That's weird. There's a framed picture sitting on this coffee table. It's a picture of a woman. She's kind of pretty. Looks like something's written here. Let's see. I think it says, "With love, Celeste." I bet this could be a clue. Ooh, Pikmin. That's actually exciting. That's weird. What's a figurine doing on a sofa in a place like this? Maya, no one would ever refer to that as a figurine. They would refer to it as a teddy bear. Because of how it's a teddy bear. I think it's a bear? Aw, how cute. It's got a lot of cuts and slits on it. I wonder if it's some kind of puzzle or something. Ugh, locked. I still think figurine is an odd word to reach for, Bubbles. Doesn't look like I can use the card to open this door. There's a little hole at the bottom of the door. If only I was a little skinnier, then maybe I'd be able to crawl through here. Oh, this simply will not do. I cannot have you wandering around at will. Ah! It seems that your Mr. Wright is truly concerned about you. Also, this dude is wearing an actual skin suit. Like, literally stitched up. It's awful. He is? But now, I would suggest you remain cooperative. If you cannot, there are ways in which I can help you. Ways? You mean... Dead men tell no tales, is how the saying goes, correct? Dead? I'm almost certain I told you on our first meeting. I am an assassin. No way, you're lying. I mean, an assassin? People are not always who they appear to be. Nick! Mr. Nick? Oh, yes, Pearls. Got caught up in my thoughts about Maya's situation. Mr. Edgeworth has left, you know. I guess for now, I have no choice but to believe in Mr. On Guard. Yeah, that seems like a bad move. But I think I should listen to his story one more time. Alright, let's get going too. Okay. And that is actually where I'm going to leave off on this stream. Because it's been nearly 3 hours, and that seems like a fairly natural breaking point. Maya is alive, but in a not great position on account of the, you know, the murderer. Sorry, Elvie. If it makes you feel better, I will be streaming again tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Time. I hope Maya isn't dead. If Maya's dead, it will make me very unhappy. For just a variety of reasons. But yeah. As I said, I'll be streaming again tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Time. I stream earlier on Sundays. If you're not currently in my Discord, and you would like to be, you can grab the invitation there. It is the best way to know when I go live. And yeah, who should we raid? Who is live is a big part of that question. Cahill is doing a special stream today. Cahill is playing Sea of Thieves with Anita Q. So we're definitely going to raid Cahill. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining me. These are always so much fun. I really love how stupid Phoenix Wright is. The whole series is amazing. But yeah. Phoenix Wright will return next week Saturday at... Actually, no. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. So Phoenix Wright will either return tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Time or next week Saturday at 5:30 Eastern Time. It depends. My Sundays are a little bit fluid. But yeah, it was lovely to have you all here. It always is. Say hi to Cahill for me. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful evening, or whatever time zone it is. I hope to see you around in future streams. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.